The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits that kill people, kill Nigerians.
We certainly can't forget that from General T.Y. Danjuma.
And the Nigerian Army has inaugurated a panel to investigate those claims by the former Army Chief T.Y. Danjuma that troops were on an ethnic cleansing mission.
Now, inaugurating the panel at the Army headquarters, Abuja, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, urged the members to visit Taraba State to determine if the claims are true. He noted that the reputation of the Army was at stake and the reason why the panel is being inaugurated. Retired General Theophilus Danjuma had asked Nigerians, particularly those resident in Taraba State, to protect themselves as the Army was no longer able to protect them.
It became imperative for the Nigerian Army to set up this panel to confirm the veracity or otherwise of these allegations. You will agree with me that it is the Nigerian Army that is well spread across the country and deployed in virtually all the states of the country for one internal security operations or the other. I have directed the Army Headquarters Department of Policy and Plans and the various formations to provide you with all the necessary logistics required for the completion of your assigned tasks. You are enjoined to visit all flashpoints and interact with various stakeholders and interest groups in Taraba State, indeed any other state, in order to come up with a comprehensive report. Let me hasten to add that the tax at hand is a burning national issue. Hence, you are to treat this assignment with the seriousness it deserves.
All right, well, Gwalaba is still with us in the studio, and we've been joined by a lawyer and public affairs analyst, Justice Uhuebu. Thank you, gentlemen, for, of course, Gwalaba staying with us, and Justice just joining us. Now, the allegation by General T.Y. Danjuma is not just that the military has been colluding with killers and marauders, but that there is an agenda of ethnic cleansing, which is even more troubling. Justice Uhuebu, what's your take on these allegations from General T.Y. Danjuma?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I've said it here before, I've said it in other forums and forums that the allegation is weighty. And when you look at the body language of what is happening, one will begin to think, is it actually the body language is proving everything to be true? Because when the Army chief said that they should visit Taraba, I'm also happy that he said other states. It's not only Taraba.
Not just Taraba.
Not just Taraba. Because I'm even surprised that the military is coming up with this now. All the calls Nigerians have been making all this while, where were the military? Because there was a direct accusation now from a retired army chief. Where are we going in this country? So what it means is that the voice of the masses does not make any meaning.
Like all this while, the
Fulani herdsmen, especially in the east and all the rest.
Kaduna had been crying.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to. What of in the east? What of the Fulani herdsmen massacre? What has the military done? Nothing. And people have been crying. Nigerians have been crying. It's gradually going to every nook and crannies of the nation. Now that a former security chief has spoken, they are now taking it serious. In as much as I don't really have confidence in what they are going to do, personally.
All right. Maybe it's going to take military generals in Enugu, Benue, Plateau, and Zamfara, and Kaduna maybe to, activate this kind of action from the military. But let me come to you on this. When you mention the word ethnic cleansing, that certainly is going to attract the ICC when it comes to issues of genocide.
Inevitably.
Is that really what we're looking towards on our hands in Nigeria?
it shouldn't ordinarily be what we're looking towards, but the frustration of many. We started today on this opportunity that you've just given me. We started by analyzing the remark of a frustrated chief security officer, ostensibly chief security officer of a state, who got so frustrated and who felt so impotent that he had to tell the IDPs. And when we talk of IDPs, we are talking of internally displaced people whose ancestors have lived in a particular area for so long, their lives, everything, livelihood, everything has been domesticated in that area, but because of lack of security, they've had to run away from where they have known for generations to go and live
in a temporary shelter.
In a temporary shelter in circumstances that are very extenuating. Now, when you have pockets of that happening across the country, and especially in states where you have predominantly non-Fulani aborigines, but with just a small portion of Fulani elements, and the Fulani seem to be expanding across these swaths of states, and the aborigines seem to be losing territories. You want to go to Plateau, you want to go to Benue, you want to go to Taraba, you want to come to the southwest and visit Ondo. A former secretary to the federal government of Nigeria was not only kidnapped once on his farm, not too long ago, his farm was literally burnt. You want to go to Oyo, where there are clashes and killings. You want to go to Fayose, that indeed is suddenly making Fayose a hero now by initiating the anti-open grazing, not anti-grazing, anti-indiscriminate and open grazing law, which these other states are replicating now. You want to go to Enugu, you want to go to Delta, you want to go to Edo, where people now are literally being killed.
So in other words, it's all across the country. Now,
and accidentally, yes, before I give it up to my colleague, and accidentally, people, they have deliberately underreported it in Zamfara, but people generally have the impression that it's not happening in Kano, it's not happening in Sokoto, it's not happening in Kebbi, it's not happening in some proximate states to predominantly where these foreign headers are coming from, that have largely Fulani.
Yeah.
Okay, so now this 10-man committee has been set up by the army to investigate General T.Y. Danjuma's claims. Ethnic cleansing is what he has said is going on definitely. Is this, if truly it is ethnic cleansing that's going on, should it be left to the military alone to investigate this matter? Should the investigation be expanded in terms of the persons who will really get to the root of this to find out if it is ethnic cleansing that we have on our hands, or just an economic problem that we don't seem to see, that we're just reading, politics into it?
You see, that was why I say that I do not trust this committee. In the first place, by law, can a person be a judge in his own court? An accusation has been made. Body language has almost proved it 99.9%. Who are the members of this committee? The same military you are accusing, the same security chiefs you are accusing. What happens to the National Assembly? If last time I came here, I said that this is a tax the National Assembly should take up immediately.
But someone would say National Assembly members are politicians.
No.
It is likely they're going to have interests, and then when the people themselves don't have confidence or trust in politicians who they feel have interest, whatever they come out with, just like you say that you don't feel that the military is going to come up with anything objective about it.
Is it the military you have trust on?
Well, the military...
That's what I'm saying.
In all fairness, the military too, they've always carried out court martials against,
since when?
Mention soldiers
since
who are found to be wanting in different areas.
Let's be realistic here. Let's tell ourselves the truth. I keep on saying this. The problem I have in this country is what I always call lack of sincerity of purpose. As far as I'm concerned, this is just for the buhaha of the media and for Nigerians to clap for them. As far as I'm concerned. Because Brutai that is talking today has been there for how long now? What has he been doing? All this while that the Fulani herdsmen, the Boko Haram and all the... Look at what just happened, I think in Kwara State, where a group of bandits went, if they even stormed the police station and they are calling it armed robbery. Who are they deceiving? As far as I'm concerned, that is not armed robbery. The state of insecurity in this country has never happened in the history of Nigeria before. And like I keep on saying, we should go back to drawing board. What is the aim of government? The Constitution simpliciter said that the main aim of government is for the welfare and security of the citizens. The implication is this: any government that has failed in these two aspects should do what? Leave.
Yeah, but this government will tell you that the dimension of insecurity that it's facing right now it has never really happened in Nigeria. So they are meeting a totally different new challenge.
Whose fault is it? So which means they have been lying to Nigerians. That is what it means. Is it not the same government that told Nigeria that especially a group like Boko Haram have been defeated technically? So which means they have been lying to themselves and not Nigerians. But I thank God all these things are happening today so that we know who is who. And that is the level of trust. When you tell people a different thing and they see a different thing, what do you expect? Now you are setting up a panel. The panel you are setting up is the same group of people that are being accused. You do not even say, okay, let us set an independent panel. Maybe put 1 or 2 military chiefs there to, organize the whole thing and all the rest. And you're setting this. So as far as I'm concerned, it is neither here nor there. The committee, as far as I'm concerned, will not get to anywhere. Not until we begin to have sincerity of purpose. Look at the headline today. Somebody advising that the IDPs should go and defend themselves with stone. Stone can mean anything. Remember, last time I said it.
The report was credited to Governor of Benue State.
Yes, it has not turned to an issue of self-defense. Was it not what I said last time? Yeah. So it becomes immaterial how you defend yourself.
As far as you defend yourself. As far as you're safe. All right, Bola, let me come to you on this. The point there is, he's saying he doesn't have confidence or doesn't think that this panel is going to come up with anything. Now, the military is very concerned about its reputation. And then if we see from that window, in as much as we may not want to preempt what the military is going to come up with, but do you have confidence that the military could come out and indict itself, if at all, whatever General Danjuma said was anything to go by? The military can come out and actually indict itself and say, well, it was actually true and we're doing something about it.
My dilemma in the last 2 years with the military is this. The Nigerian Armed Forces, if you look at the average service person or the average serving officer, is still one of the most heroic military establishments on the face of the earth. These guys are literally being paid peanuts for doing more than any equivalent soldier or officer does anywhere in the world. Peanuts. Indeed, when they go for international service,
they
for the good of the world, and they are supposedly paid well, people still extort them back home.
Okay,
the
so
problem,
is this at the root of the seeming inefficiency and ineffectiveness of the Nigerian military in ensuring security?
I will answer your question in my landing on his question. The irony of our situation is that political leadership is failing everybody across the board in Nigeria,
including the military,
since 1999, including the military. But worst of all, the brass leadership of the armed services has largely failed not only Nigerians but failed these heroes in the military, Army, Air Force, and Navy. And you know why I'm saying that? Ostensibly, let's look at don't let's go into mentioning names. Ostensibly, with a salary that can barely take a middle class or upper middle class Nigerian to the end of the month, like myself, some officers in today's army have houses in Dubai. How can you reconcile it? And yet you want me to believe that echelon, a committee, it constitutes, when I know that even within the military there are complaints by serving heroes and average officers that their lives are being wasted because of the nonchalance and indeed the kleptocracy in the echelon. And you want me to believe this? So,
and now you have a government that's saying we need about $1 billion to...
Do you have to go there this morning?
Yeah, of course. Why not? Because it's part of what we're talking about. And then they're saying, no, you don't need $1 million or $1 billion to prosecute this war. Since you say that...
Well, your question is pregnant with a lot of things.
Yes.
Do you have to go there this morning?
Yes.
Means a lot of things.
Yeah.
Justice.
You know why you say that? You see, I believe that Nigerians I think we have learnt our lessons. We are not stones, we are human beings. In biology,
we worked on this path before.
Yes, in biology, we were discussing off air. There's what we call stimulus and response. I think Nigerians are now responding to stimulus. My happiness today is that some of us saw this thing earlier before now when it was coming.
Yes, rub it in. I know.
Yes.
Because I was a Buhari supporter in 2015.
You were?
No, he was.
I was.
Seriously.
And I campaigned hopping from TV station to
Yes,
station.
but I salute
and
his
they were
courage.
telling me
Yes, I salute his
you will
courage.
regret it.
You know why I
So
salute
are you regretting it now?
No, it's not as if
That's
it's
a
not
that's a
regretting.
different discussion.
You know why I
Oh, okay.
salute his courage?
Yes.
He did not take him time to say, no, this was not what we bargained for. Some people are still making excuses till today. That is selfishness and psychophancy. And that's why I talked about the issue of sincerity of purpose. At the end of the day, we are all Nigerians. History will live to remember us all.
Justice,
One
Bola
day-
Alba raised an issue about the welfare of these military soldiers who have to go to the front lines, ill-equipped, ill-motivated, and all of that, and we expect them, the same
you know what
people,
I will advise
to
you?
protect
You know what I will
Nigerians.
advise you?
Yes.
Take a trip to our security apparatus in Nigeria. You will weep.
The barrack.
It's not only even the military, even the police. That is even the worst. You take a trip there. In fact, let me tell you the truth. With what is happening in Nigeria today, I don't think there is any rational Nigerian, if not for lack of employment, that will want to enter the military, the police, or any force in Nigeria. I am telling you the gospel truth. It's just because of there's no job. That's why people are resorting to that. Because if you remember, it took the police college at Ikeja. It was after channels hailed
The embarrassment of
the
the
embarrassment
media.
that they even went there to renovate. My sister, we are close to people. We are on the streets. We know what is happening. I don't wish any of my relation to be a security agent in this
That's why I
country.
still
While
celebrate
outside
you
the country, when you become a security agent, the kind of respect, look at even their dressing. You will even see a military officer, after dressing up, he wears slippers today. No, I don't even want to talk about the police. Do you know that they buy their uniform today? They buy their uniform, they buy everything.
And on paper, those things have been
Those
budgeted
things-
for
okay.
to be given to them.
You're talking about, that's why he said, do you want us to go there?
Well,
they have budgeted
unfortunately,
$1
we've
billion
gone there.
now for security.
The government says, well, President Buhari really has not put pen to paper to approve that yet.
These people should
But
stop.
there is a
These people
demand
should
for
stop
that.
deceiving. Well, I don't blame them. They are confused people. You know why? Because Femi Adesina last time said that anybody that is making noise should have known that a letter is being transmitted. You see, I don't know. You come today, you say one thing. You in the next hour you say another thing. That is to tell you there's no coordination.
Okay, Bola, let me come to you on this. If T.Y. Danjuma used the word collude, and he emphatically stressed the word collude, collude, the military collude. Now, if that statement, if we have to stand on that statement, from the window of you're saying that the military is ill-equipped sometimes, especially when it comes to the issues of welfare and all of that. What could really make the military collude with anybody to hurt anyone?
Before we get to the disturbing but a very incisive remark of Chiwa Danjuma, let's do a cursory, just a cursory examination of some of the circumstances that we have placed our serving soldiers and the average officers. Look at the circumstances through which we've lost some of our celebrated middle-level heroic officers. Even within the military, there are suspicions of collusion. Have you forgotten that sometimes these people will say they had some people almost cornered and they would suddenly get
A directive,
Yeah.
an order.
To pull back.
in some circumstances, the first major reportage of rebellion in the Nigerian army in the Northeast was when a soldier was said to have fired at the vehicle in which a general was because those soldiers and their middle-level managers, heroes to me, although some of them were prosecuted in court-martial, but were ultimately forgiven, given some form of pardon. But because, you know why they did it? Because they were going in another direction and they got an order to go in another direction where they were placed in danger and they lost some of their colleagues. That is even within the army. There is suspicion of collusion. So I'm sitting there thinking, shame to T.Y. Danjuma. So until he got to your natal hood, until he got to your own place of birth, to your people, and as a former chief of army staff who rose to become defense minister. So until he got to your neighborhood, you never thought that the lives of these heroes ought to have been, you ought to have been more assertive. So I'm sitting there saying, T.Y. Danjuma is not telling me anything.
So the unfortunate tendency is until it touches you, then it becomes, it is a problem.
That has been the story of anorexic statesmanship in Nigeria.
Anorexic statesmanship. Justice Uhuebu, imagine you were on this panel of 10 military...
You know, the ability they put there.
Well, just imagine.
And military will be answerable to the man who constituted the board.
What questions would you be asking? What would you want to unravel to actually get to the root of this and to get closure that will give Nigerians anywhere and everywhere confidence?
In the first place, did they need to set up a committee?
Well, they have set up a committee.
They know themselves. That is to please the people in their mind. They know themselves.
Okay.
They know what, let me tell you, they know what to do. It's just like every government.
What should they be doing?
Yeah, it's just like every government.
In case they don't
I'm not a military man, but I don't want to preempt them. But the truth is that they know what to do.
As a Nigerian who is concerned about the security situation, and another Nigerian has come out to say, look, there's ethnic cleansing going on. What kind of questions would you want to ask?
That's what I'm trying to say. You know, I said something. The body language alone. My brother here even said something. When you look at the body language, the whole operation that has been carried out so far, it is a particular group of people or tribe, so to say, you know, small, that is trying to enlarge one way or the other. And remember, but I will have to mention this. That was why people started clamoring that the security apparatus of the country is now being headed and being made up of a particular section of people. And these are the same section of people or the same tribe that is being accused.
Coincidentally.
And
ironically.
So yes.
And
so
paradoxically.
You know what I asked? I asked a question one day.
They are Nigerians.
I asked a question.
No.
It doesn't matter.
Whenever said they are Togola.
Okay. I asked a question one day. I said, when there is an attack in the southeast, in the southwest, in the middle belt, or maybe in the Niger Delta, who speaks for you in the security meeting?
Council meeting.
The Security Council meeting. Who? So can we, for once, be truthful to ourselves in this
Yeah,
country?
but the point, the concept of speaking for, they are not representatives necessarily.
No.
So we
Understand
don't.
me. You see, no, understand what we are trying to say. It has never happened in the history of this country before. Security matters are very, very key and germane. And that was why I keep on referring to the Constitution. It said for the welfare and security. These are the two major things. If you get security very well, you get welfare. If you get welfare very well, you get security. These are the two things that are simplicity.
All right.
So when you look at it, from which angle you look at it,
yes,
the government, they are not telling us the truth. And not, see, let me tell you, our lives begin to end the day we keep quiet on things that matter. Just like what he said, I said it earlier. Why is it now that Danjuma will talk? Because it has gotten to Taraba. Don't bother, it will get everywhere. I said something, remember, that Ojukwu wrote a book because I am involved. Today, we are all involved, directly or indirectly.
All right, Bolaba, we have to round off, but let me give you this last shot for you to give us that ideal state of security and welfare Nigerians are looking forward to right now. What are Nigerians really expecting ideally from the government, so we can paint a picture and we'll live with it?
I am of the opinion that it shouldn't take a Bill Gates to come to Nigeria to tell us that security starts from a micro level, and that micro level is the security of the being. If Iyaileja, my late mother, had not sent me to school, I probably would have ended up in one of the garages in Mushin, being on the borderline between killing people, extorting money from motorists, and whatever. Education, investment in education by that woman made it for me. I am today sitting on national or international TV. Until we focus security to the man, one, skills empowerment, entrepreneurial empowerment. That guy probably initially bought that AK-47 to protect his head against cattle rustlers. But it became, most crimes are opportunistic in life.
Yeah.
He suddenly remembers that this same AK-47 that I bought can make me some money if I stand between Ore and Benin, stop vehicle and take those who look well there. A friend of mine was about 5 years ago a victim like that. Kidnapped, the families had to extort something out. Until that guy feels safe enough to know that, you know what, this is my ranch. I can grow it and pass it to my children. They will always live between the borderline of wanting to survive and being a criminal.
And
most crimes are opportunistic.
The Agric Minister, Adogbe, has said, look, there is a strong possibility that things could worsen in 2019 if we don't go the way of
they are cauterizing us for the election. They are cauterizing us for the election.
It's all right. Thank you very much, Bola Oba, for coming on the program, and Justice Iwewu, thank you so much.
We talked military today.
We talked military today. Thank you.
Thank
you so
much,
much, gentlemen, for coming. Thank you.